This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Always great to catch up with the big Pavies in the house this morning after celebrating Mother's Day yesterday. But you've got an injury out of Mother's Day, Pav.
I do, yeah. We so good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. I so cooked some pizzas yesterday with the kids. We got a homemade oven there, a pizza oven at home, and so we made some pizzas, did all the prep. You know, got the kids rolling the dough, getting everything ready, and the whole thing. So, made sure Lauren was just sitting back and...
This is stuff you do in front of the TV when they come over, you know, doing a story on you. It's not what you do in real life. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, we're all doing this together all the time.
Always need the
Lie.
Only for Mother's Day. It's not like a weekly occurrence. Special occasions. And so as a part of, so the kids had their pizzas, popped them in the oven, and we were bringing them out, and one of our kids was like, "Oh, Dad, is mine ready? I want to taste it." So I sort of did the sacrificial act, put the pizza in my mouth, and burnt the roof of my mouth.
So yep, it's ready.
It's not ready. You have to wait a bit longer because it's so hot.
How many times have you been rubbing your tongue on the top of your mouth, the roof of your mouth?
Every 3 seconds.
Isn't it?
You always have to do it.
Yeah, and it feels like it's like 3-degree Freddy Krueger stuff in there.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Big time. I was mentioning to you, because we were both sharing weekends of sport, and Paul Hazelby and his wife Nicole have been heavily involved in netball teams that my daughter's playing in. And Hayes took over the coaching on the weekend. I wanted to mention this because they were looking for 3 straight wins that they'd never done before.
Wow.
Really?
So Hayes took over the coaching, and at 3/4 time, there was 1 goal in it. So I thought I'd get around him, the big guy, and listen to him speaking to the girls, and he was really firing up. This is the first time, 3 in a row, we're looking down there. We've got to get our structures right, pass the ball around, fast ball movement, all this kind of stuff. Not one of them were looking at him. We're listening. They're pretty much, kicking the floor.
Yeah,
looking around,
doing handstands.
It was the best thing ever.
I feel his pain because yesterday, so I had the year 3s, Jack's year 3 team, under 8s, down at City Beach. We were playing away from home yesterday morning, kicking the dew off the grass, and we'd started really well. We're actually playing a player down. They had an extra player. We had a chat pre-game. We said, you know what, you start with an extra on. Let's just see what happens, because we actually had we only had 13 out there. But and the kids did a great job. It was basically neck and neck at quarter time. So, I had a softly approach at quarter time, very encouraging of their effort. They were terrible in the second quarter. Terrible.
Just be honest to all the adults listening, did you want to give them a spray?
That bunch of 8-year-olds?
I was steaming a little bit at half time.
Just come over here behind this building away from your parents.
Exactly.
But this is the thing. The parents came in, so we had to take a deep breath and say, guys, great effort. You hung in there. You didn't drop your heads. You try your hardest. And no, they did try their hardest. They did have an extra player out there. But I wanted to rip into them, I tell you.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Is it only during games where there is a former AFL coach where the parents want to come by and listen to what
the
they're
halftime
saying?
address?
They think, the parents are thinking they're going to hear something just
amazing.
Monumental.
Yeah, and this is a real insight to the next level of footy.
Yeah.
It absolutely is not.
And can I also
Athletes
ask?
are 8.
Can I also ask about the pressure on guys like you when the role of coaching gets brought up? Because straight away,
everyone takes a step back.
All eyes are on you.
It's like a given. You're going to have to do it.
Because none of them want to do it if you're the parents of one of their kids. Like they don't want you listening to their halftime address. So
probably not.
That's a lot of pressure. So you have to do it. It's part of your contract for being a former AFL player, right?
That you have to step up. Yeah,
you
that's
just hope there's another AFL player with kids in the team so that they can do it.
I know, and one that's won the Brownlow or something.
So where's Matt Priddis when you need him?
I was just thinking, I've given a really big spray one year, and it's centred around the oranges at halftime. Now, we all know as kids, when you're playing sport, and these days still, everyone, you're orange duty. Yep. And as soon as the oranges come out, the kids don't want to have anything to do with what you're saying. And I just
it's like you at a buffet.
No oranges yet.
Exactly. I got the manager, Sean Corman, sent out an email, no more oranges. The oranges are banned from my team.
Wow.
We're not doing this.
Wow, what a dictatorship.
I've never played football, so I've never experienced the oranges coming into a game situation. Is it quarters or halves?
Great question. So this has been a debate between a couple of our parents around what is the perfect sliced orange for halftime, 3/4 time school sport. There was one group in the half In
Oh, you can't do halves because you can't
How
put
does
it,
that
you can't
work?
put it in
That's
your
right.
mouth and pretend it's a
And then
mouth
someone
guard.
was in the quarters.
I would say it's got to be quarters or even with a little kid.
These little
Six.
kids, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Probably sixth or.
And are we
or
Valencia
quarters.
or navel? What sort of oranges are the orange of choice?
Naval is probably where I would lean. Where would you go, Nathan?
Well, me, naval would be the way forward, I think. But I'm going to say half an orange.
You can't do
No,
half
you
an
can't
orange.
because you can't bite into it.
You know what? If you can do that, then you can win the game.
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
We are talking about very particular people. We just met Jess from our office who brings her own hot water from home because she thinks that the hot water from the filter tap in our kitchen makes her tea taste funny. So she brings her own water, hot water from home. Her boss just walked in and said, she's very particular and meticulous in every part of her work, which is great. For when you're doing a job, not so great when you've got to boil water at home.
You're not wrong. We were talking to Ali came in before, and she was talking to us about how she could smell if dishes were washed
in hot or cold water.
Hot or cold water.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's,
She's a hound dog.
So we are talking about very particular people. Jasmine, hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Jasmine.
Jazzy. Okay, talk to us. Who's the particular person?
I'm the particular person.
What are you particular about?
So I put my apples in the microwave
What for?
what?
to eat them.
What do you mean?
What?
So, my family likes their apples cold. I can't eat cold fruit, so it goes in the microwave.
I can't eat cold
you
fruit.
can't eat cold fruit.
Don't you start.
Yeah.
You won't eat fruit at all. So
Not a
don't
bloody
you,
cake,
you
Natalie.
have
Hey,
nothing,
don't even
no input
Yeah,
at
Leo, I'm
all.
going to tell you this story. She's
you've got-
upset at me.
You've got nothing.
Jasmine, so how long do you put them in the microwave for?
Like 20 seconds.
So
they just
it-
have to come down to room temperature.
So if
But-
your apples if they were stored on the kitchen counter, would you be able to eat
Yep.
that in the fruit bowl?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
okay.
But in winter, it's still a little bit cold, so they might have to go in for 10 seconds.
Wow. You
So
do this
you-
with any other fruit, like watermelon?
That's okay because it's watery, but cold apples, it's solid, so it just doesn't work.
So
Have to go in the
banana is
microwave.
okay.
Yeah, banana's fine.
So anything
apples,
that's got a
pears,
crunch to it.
Yeah, crunchy ones have to go in the microwave.
Apples in the microwave. Never heard that before,
No,
Jasmine.
me either. She can't eat them any other way, though. Thank you, Jasmine. Natalie's in Dianella. Hello.
Oh, hi. How you going, guys?
Good, Nat. Okay. Who's the particular person?
Well, it's me, and I've picked one of the things that I've got.
Okay. Hit us up.
I can't stand long-pronged forks.
What?
I can't eat off a long-pronged fork.
Well, how
So,
long is a long prong?
Well,
Yeah,
I would say,
I'm listening.
You know, the ones that you get at restaurants all the time, so I have to take my little sort of more childlike fork
Yes.
because I can't stand, because I was taught to push the food to the back of the fork and I can't reach it when I get to my mouth.
But what
So
about if
I
you just
use the
don't? If you
fork.
go against what you've been taught and just put it on the front of the fork?
Can't.
Oh, well, yeah, no, because I was taught to eat the Queen's way. So I have to...
The Queen doesn't eat off a child fork anymore.
No, but I don't think she eats off long-pronged forks either. So
We-
maybe Charles does.
Hey, Nat,
I don't
we have
know.
a heap of long pronged forks in our
In their kitchen,
And you know
yes.
what? When I see them there, and I'm trying to, I kind of try to dodge them a bit too.
You like a shorter
Yeah.
prong?
Well, that's because I was eating that rice stuff, which I threw all over the floor this morning. But
Yeah,
do I like a shorter prong?
Yeah.
I've got to be careful how I answer that now.
So I'm glad Nathan's not here today.
Shorter prongs have their place. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
At the moment, we're talking about very particular people, inspired by Jess that works with us, who she and I share a birthday, but obviously no traits in common.
Whoa.
She brings her own hot water from home to make her cups of tea because the hot water at work tastes funny.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
you
out
know
of a
what?
filter tap.
She's not the Lone Ranger.
No.
We spoke to Jasmine a second ago, who microwaves her apples, and of course Natalie, who only uses short prongs on the fork.
Can't stand a long prong
really?
fork. Jen's in Tapping. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
G'day, Jen.
Good, Jen. Who's the particular person?
My sister.
Yeah.
She carries a piece of chalk in her handbag, and if she sees like a cafe menu that has a spelling mistake on it, she'll actually rub it out and fix the spelling mistake.
I'll be honest, I'm a bit on board with her. I mean, I don't carry the chalk, but I do. They make me angry. I bet she puts apostrophes in and rubs apostrophes out a lot.
That's brilliant.
We've been known to leave a restaurant or a cafe because there's been an apostrophe in coffees. She's like, "Nah, we're not eating here. We've got to go."
It's plural,
and then actually leave.
not possessive.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
That is hilarious.
No, I'm not joking. She broke up with a guy once because he had poor spelling and grammar. And the only way they could communicate for a while was via email. And she's like, I can't get to know this guy because he has such bad spelling and grammar. So she broke up with him.
God, we'd have no chance together.
Yeah, no,
She'd hate to see my writing.
Yeah, she would.
Jeez.
I like the cut of her jib, though.
Is she married now or?
Single, surprisingly.
Yeah. But she's got a chalk.
She's got a chalk.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, she's got a chalk, and she teaches English to Spanish people, to Russians and Spanish people.
She's at least in the right field.
Wow.
That's good. Amazing.
That's hectic.
That's
Thanks,
hilarious.
Jen. Gwen's in Mandurah. Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
All right, Gwen, hit us up. Who's the particular person?
I am.
Yeah, good.
Well, so you know how you have to go for number 2, and I can't go in there fully clothed. I have to take my clothes off.
So, okay.
What?
You need the freedom to do a poo.
If you're going to the toilet to do number 2, you have to take all of your clothes off.
Yes, otherwise I can't go.
Hang on, can I just
Like I
ring
have
my
to
boss?
think about the smell and the, like you have sprinkles or I don't know.
You don't want the smell or possible sprinkles getting on your clothes.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So if you look at us and none of us do that, I think it's safe to say, judging by the way we're horrified by what you're telling us, do you go, oh my God, those filthy people covered in poo particles? Is that what you think about us?
I don't know. For me, like I can't use people's bathrooms, I have to use mine. So I don't go in public. So this is just at home. So.
Oh, okay. But if you had to use a public toilet,
She wouldn't.
you just wouldn't.
You wouldn't use a public toilet, would you?
No,
Yeah, see.
I don't use a public
There
toilet.
is something freeing though when you go to the toilet when you're nude. Don't you reckon?
Right.
Thank you, Harry. No one else is nodding.
I used to do this.
I'm out.
You used to do this?
When I was very little, though, not this
Yeah,
age.
well-
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're
I
talking
mean, when
about
you're
what,
little, you take clothes off all the time.
2 years ago?
Yeah, it's
or-
a couple of years ago.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
Dave Thornton is in the house, but we were talking about scurvy before.
Now, because I've been away for a couple of days
Yes.
and you guys have said that
Sean said.
had
Shingles.
Shingles. Because
So
people believe that.
when Natalie was away just the other week, I said that Natalie had scurvy, and then to back ourselves in, we learnt a lot about scurvy throughout that morning about the knee shin dots. If you get scurvy, you get dots on your shin.
Do you?
Yes.
Sorry?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a classic sign.
Yeah.
It's a classic sign.
classic
we haven't heard
sign.
of scurvy for a long period of time.
Yeah,
Dave.
because we're
On your
not
shins, very
pirates.
specific. No, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, comedian Chris Franklin, who people might know, the bloke, he's known for his parody of
Yep.
a Shania Twain song, and he got scurvy. Ironically, he was working for the Navy.
Yeah.
And he was a cook.
So he's a cook in the Navy. So he had access to all of the food,
All of the food,
and he
was
just
one of-
didn't eat any fresh vegetables.
No, he was one of the first recorded cases in hundreds of years of having scurvy. All he needed was a small slice of orange, which you get at half time at the Oscars.
Like, I mean,
And
a
he would have
sliver
been
of
fine.
capsicum would have kept it away. I
know.
Like, come on.
like-
Are you
do
telling me
you have
one
consumption?
slither of some fruit would have gotten
Yes,
rid of it?
fruit or vegetable.
A slither.
Vitamin C.
Probably a roll-up.
Just like a-
just some kind of vitamin C.
The lick of a pineapple.
Yes. Like half a glass of orange juice, then he would have been okay. But,
No, but he
that
had
was
it.
too much.
Yeah, it was too much for him. So, yeah, the bloke cooked himself on a disease that shouldn't exist
In
anymore.
the Navy.
Yeah, and somehow you've got polio as well. I don't know how this has worked itself out.
I mean, nasty case of smallpox as well, which is unusual. Bubonic plague. Poor guy.
Oh, we all know someone that should have scurvy, though. Your cousin
Yes.
should have scurvy.
Which one, Rove?
The one that doesn't eat orange foods.
Oh, no, that's Maury.
Oh, Maury.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Maury. Yeah,
Yeah,
Maury.
he's big time with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
He won't eat anything orange.
What, the colour orange?
Yes.
Yes.
So no pumpkin, no carrot.
No witches' hats.
Jeez, that's brutal. Yeah, no FIFOs, nothing.
No Dutch soccer supporters. It's really.
Not Donald Trump.
Hare Krishnas are out.
No cheesels, nothing.
I reckon Trump's wife says that sometimes.
No, don't do
I don't
orange.
eat orange
The
food.
doctor said I've got to stay off for 12 months at least.
God, imagine the comb over down there. That would be so sad.
No, let's not. Let's not imagine that. Eh?
Now we're all imagining it.
That's horrific.
sorry.
Just his red tie sitting on top of it.
Gross.
How's that?
Hey, Dave, do you miss doing this stuff, breakfast morning?
No.
Do I miss it?
No. Breakfast morning.
I'm going to answer for him. No.
I don't miss like the hours. The hours.
Yeah.
Which I know. I'm cautious to say that because I know there's people out there doing actual jobs.
Yeah, digging holes, baking bread.
Making a real difference. But no, I don't miss this at all.
Yeah, the getting up's revolting. It's so bad.
I mean, you know, this happened one time. I remember I was working radio, and so you guys know, in the middle of the day, you're a bit zonked.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's when you trough. Well, I found I did.
Yeah.
So you just nap like you're
yes.
a cat. And I was
the best.
This is the worst heckle I've ever received, guys, because it was outside of a stand-up comedy room too. I just wasn't ready for it. And it was the middle of the day, finished the radio shift, was walking around just with my head down. And this car slowed down. And I remember thinking to myself, because it wasn't the kind of area where you'd think, why is this happening? I'm thinking, that car's going slow. And then this guy leans out the side of the car and he just goes, not funny, and just drove off.
I mean, well, in that moment, like, were you supposed to be funny? Like,
Yeah, there was a bit of that. Yeah. What do you want from me right now,
exactly.
mate? I'm
just
walking.
walking down the street.
My favourite thing.
Do you want me to do?
Yeah, some sort of funny walk. What do you want, mate?
Yeah, do you want me to do the John Cleese funny
Yes,
walk
exactly.
or a goose step or something?
My favourite thing is the people that feel the need to come up to tell you at the shops that they don't listen to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hi, Nathan. How are you? I don't listen to your show. Like, what are we doing there?
Great chat.
It's the most Australian compliment you can always get, where people say, hey, they'll say this after a stand-up gig. They go, I saw you walk on stage. I thought you'd be crap, but you weren't.
I know.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. But I still reckon footballers get it worse. So people always ask me about that stuff. And I reckon the stuff that gets sprayed out in a football field, because, well, you know, Bob Murphy.
Yeah. Great Bob Murphy,
Yeah, he used to play for the Western Bulldogs. He's now associated with the Dockers.
Associated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
that's
one of
true.
us, mate.
He's one of you.
Yes.
Okay, last time I spoke to him, I said, what do you do with the Dockies? He goes, I'm not really sure.
If they find
that
out,
continues.
they find out. I'll be
Sean
out
wasn't sure what he did at the Dockers either, and he was there for years.
That's so funny. Guess I'll put the uniform on again and I'll try and figure it
They're
out.
telling me to go out to the Oval. This is so
Sean,
weird.
you retired 4 years ago.
Stop eating the grass.
Yeah.
But Murph told me this one time, because after... Most people would know if you've watched AFL, he had a really bad knee injury.
Yeah.
He said he was getting carted off. So he's got all those things running through his head
Yes.
of like, you know, will I play
Is
again?
this my career? Done. Yeah.
He said this 10-year-old leant across the fence and said, Murph, you've effed my super coach.
As he's looking at a career-ending injury.
That's savage. And the injury that kept him out of the premiership.
That's savage, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Harsh.
I haven't had that.
That's
No,
brutal.
see, there you go. Well, Sean still gets the blame for Dockers' form now. Like, people
No,
come up to you
constantly.
with...
I made that a mention to them about a month ago when I spoke to the boys before the start of the season.
Yeah.
How I get blamed for all that kind of stuff. But people come up as they do about the radio or whatever
Yeah.
stuff. But they'll just walk up and say, I go for the Eagles or your team's shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably a good one.
Yeah. My favourite is I listen to Triple J. Okay.
Okay.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
In Nathan's seat right now, the one and only Jeremy McGovern. And Jez,
Yes.
we've been talking about changing names.
Yeah.
You've got a cracker of a story.
I do. I actually changed my name as well.
Yes.
I had to when I was up in Indigenous community in Warburton. For
So you're
cultural
kids,
regions.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, young kid, up there for when someone of significance passes away, you can't use that name, and Jeremy was one of them, so I had to change it. And Mum and Dad gave me the responsibility to change my name, and I changed it to Rocky. Because Dad used to hammer Rocky Balboa on
Well, no,
the
you
TV.
don't have to explain why. Rocky's awesome. Why wouldn't you?
Rocky is awesome. But,
Rocky McGovern. That's
So you're Rocky McGovern.
I was, up there. I was Rocky McGovern. Oh, and look, you can always still call me Rocky if you want.
I love Rocky.
I'm not quite the boxer that Rocky was, but but that's not the funny one. I've got a funny one of a couple of local boys here in Perth, South Freo Way and Wesley Footy Club, bloke named Morgan Cooper. They've
Yes.
had a few beers and carrying on the weekend, and they...
So was this a Mad Monday situation, or was it just
You know what? You want
a
to hope
regular
so,
weekend?
but knowing these boys, it was probably a Monday and Tuesday arvo, and they just got a bit carried away, and they wound Morgan up.
Yeah.
He's very easily. He's got a rubber arm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they took him in Perth here to change his name, and they took him in, took his passport, took all of his details.
So they thought it'd be a hilarious gag for him to change his name.
Yeah, I think it'd be hilarious if I wasn't doing it.
Yes.
So I think this is real. This is a piss.
Okay,
It's
so
fun.
who got to choose a name, him or his mates?
I don't know who got to choose it, but they need to take credit for it because they changed it to Jose Swift.
Jose Swift.
Jose Swift. but-
Taylor's younger brother,
Yes. I think it's an absolute cracking name.
Jose Swift.
Jose Swift, Morgan Cooper to Jose Swift.
Mm-hmm.
His missus didn't know.
Oh,
until the paperwork come in a week later.
Yes.
And obviously, rightly so, she spat it.
Because he has to change everything then.
Yeah,
so,
he has to change it back. And
so did he change it back?
he did, but he didn't for a fair while because it was too expensive. So I think they reckon it lasts about a year. Before
That he was legally Jose Swift.
He was legally Jose Swift. I hope he got a driver's license or a passport.
I know, a passport,
That would be,
exactly.
That would be all time. That'd be framed on my wall. That's for sure. That'd be in the.
The other thing to add to that is making up you got to get a new autograph, don't you?
Yeah.
If you're
your new
signing
signature,
documents.
yeah.
Jose Swift.
Jose Swift.
The most Australian bloke walks in and he's called Jose Swift.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun in podcast form.
Will Anderson is bringing his show Willuminate to the Regal Theatre tomorrow, everybody. 2 shows, 7 p.m, sold out. 9 p.m, that's the better show always anyway.
Always.
Tickets from comedy.com.au. And after some minor technical difficulties, and minor in the sense that we couldn't talk to one another, we now have Will Anderson. Hello.
Well, we have Will on Zoom, but we were speaking to him over the phone.
Will, good morning.
It does feel like the worst of both worlds, doesn't it?
We can see you so clearly that you're on the
watching
phone.
you talk to us on the phone.
So
which
weird.
Is just, anyway.
Yeah, anyway, look, here's what I do love is that I got to hear a little bit of Pitbull while I was waiting because
you're welcome.
I must admit, I'm not the sort of person who's ever going to put Pitbull on at home, but there is something about, I miss the era of the kind of the middle-aged man being a pop star, the Phil Collins, the Robert Palmer, back in the day where it didn't matter if you were just a middle-aged ugbo, you could be like a pop star that teens loved all over the world. And I really feel like Pitbull is as close to a modern-day equivalent of that.
Isn't it worldwide?
It's like when you look at Seinfeld and look at how gorgeous all of Jerry Seinfeld's girlfriends were, and it's like, that was never, that's not real.
I also love with Pitbull just the fact that it's all, braggadocio and all about how he's going to party all night and take you home and make love to you. But there's still manners. It's like, excuse me, I might drink a little bit. I'm like, that's right. He says, excuse me,
How old-fashioned.
It's good. That's what I like about Pitbull. He's got old-fashioned manners.
How old is Pitbull now?
I reckon he's in his 50s. I've seen him do. I've seen him do leadership and leadership talks.
He's 42.
Before.
You know what? He's talking about...
That is like 200 in dog years.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
But he's talking about, I want to be out all night partying. You're 42. You don't want to be out all night partying.
No.
That's why. Definitely the next couple of songs are really going to wind it down. It's like, you know what? I got to be home by midnight. I got an early meeting. I'm doing a lot of corporate speaking these days.
Yes, that's right. Go home. It's 9 o'clock.
Hey, Will, a sad thing. I was actually just talking to Nathan a little second ago in the kitchen, telling him I haven't been out socialising, drinking much lately, but I'm really keen to go out and have a few beers with the boys. But on the flip side, about that age where you go, but I can't be bothered in the morning, waking up feeling.
Well, remember
rubbish.
when you were younger, you used to just go, I'm going to go out and just get on it, and you'd be
hang the consequences.
Yeah. But now you have to plan the 4 days afterwards of how that's going to happen.
I mean, this is a terrible discussion when I'm trying to flog the remaining tickets to a late show on a Saturday night.
It pulls out.
But I could not agree with you more because, I've noticed this is the difference with my demographic as well. Because I've been doing this for so long now that, the Sunday show, which is always the earliest show at the comedy festival, is always a Sunday show, which is earlier than all the other shows. And in the old days, that was always the last show to sell out, the hardest show after a big Saturday night full audience. You go to that Sunday show and it'd always be a bit of a letdown before your day off on a Monday. It was now first show to sell out. My audience is now in a demographic where Sunday show 5 o'clock on a Sunday. Yes, perfect.
That's right. We'll come straight from church. It'll be great.
No, and, until a few years ago, you could have come straight from Sizzler. Hey, I'm looking at your yard here.
Yes.
There's a pool scoop there. Do you have a?
There's the pool behind it, is it?
Move so I can see the pool. Is it a nice pool?
Can I just this is a true story. I swear on my grandmother's grave, this is an absolutely true story. As I sat down and I saw in the background, I was like, oh, that pool scoop's there. I bet Nathan missed out say what I see brings up the fact that and 100% that is exactly what happened.
You know why? Only because I didn't see the pool because you're in front of it, right? And I thought that you could possibly be a spa person.
Oh.
Yeah.
With a pool scoop.
A spa person who just likes to scoop out the leaves from a long way away from the spa.
Well, if you ever looked at what happens in a spa, you don't want to get too close to the water.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Anyone that has a spa right now, people think you're filthy.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Don't you? And especially someone goes, "Oh, do you want to come over and get in my spa?" No, I don't want to sleep with you.
Not.
Because that's what you're asking.
DNA
what if they said it like this, Nathan?
What?
Excuse me. Do you want to come over?
Did you come over to my spa tonight?
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat, and Shaun.
Time for some more of our chat with comedian Will Anderson.
Will, you've been trying out your new show recently all over the place. Do we get the good version?
Yeah, well, I mean, technically that is absolutely correct what you do. I mean, partly you're getting the version because I haven't been to Perth since pre-pandemic. So you're getting the absolute best version of me. You're getting the me that's coming a night early, who's staying a couple of days after to have a little mini break in my tour.
Yes.
I am Mr. Worldwide. Move over, people. Like, I am in town for, 2 shows in one night. I couldn't be more out. But, yeah, this is the end of the tour, so this actually does mean you get the polished version of the show. Oh. Here's the problem with the show, is that it's probably about 70 minutes of material that I technically am meant to jam into about 60 minutes. Normally get it down to about 64 just by speaking quickly. And it normally buggers the person who shows after you. But I'm the only person who's on after me, so it's fine.
Yes.
I probably could just run the 2 shows into each other and people could just go in and out and go over the night.
Hey, Will, I was saying this to Nat the other day. I think the last time you were actually in the studios with us is when you relieved the pressure out of my nail that time.
Yeah, did a bit of surgery.
I don't think that's a lot. That's like over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And how's the nail?
It's not good.
You did a great job, but the Medicare rebate didn't go through.
Hang on.
Very good.
Yeah. So in your show, are you going to talk about how we've got Coldplay coming to WA and
just
nowhere
to
else?
Perth and nowhere else? We're really showing off about it.
I mean, that's pretty cool, though. That is worth showing off about. And are they doing 2 shows as well?
Yeah, they are all for us. So.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know if they are all for you guys, though. Isn't there people coming from across the border?
Well, I mean, that's the idea, is to drag people across the border.
You know our Premier.
Put the wall back up.
No, thanks. Got you now.
He's out there right now with the posts and the chicken wire.
Put the wall up, paint it yellow. You can't see Coldplay.
There we go. Now we're talking.
So how's Errol? What else has been happening with you? Everything good?
Okay, can I tell you this? This is an absolute true story. So I'm about to fly to Perth for a few days. I've got to leave a house key for a house sitter. I only have one key to my house. Yesterday I go for a walk down the beach. I lose the key.
Oh.
So I lose the one key to the house. Now, here's the thing. I go into the police station, which is quite nearby, so I'm hoping someone's found the key. Yeah. They've handed it into the police station. You know, sometimes you make decisions that are just for you and you don't think about what the long-term consequences of those decisions would be. So on this house key, I thought it would be lovely for me to have a little novelty Doctor Who house key thing, right?
Yes.
And that's
right from
fine.
Gallifrey. Yes.
Until you're a grown man in a police station trying to describe what the key looks like. And they're like, oh, you lost your Doctor Who key, did you? You couldn't find a police box. What do you want us to do? Travel through time. Who got it? One of the Daleks?
Yeah, that's right. Your sonic screwdriver should be able to fix it, surely.
That's so funny, actually. That's awesome.
I didn't realise you're a Doctor Who head.
I mean, I grew up on. So I'm old, right? So I grew up with 2 TV stations. It was ABC and a composite commercial channel, and my family were an ABC channel. So yeah, Doctor Who was like a staple of my childhood. So I've hung on. Yeah. I don't think I've seen them all, No.
And look, I watch Doctor Who as well. Yes. But there's 2 Doctor Who. There's 2 Doctor Who camps. There's a Doctor Who camp that just thinks it's like the best thing that's ever been made, and the storylines are amazing.
So Rove falls into that category.
And there's the other one that we watch it, but we know it's shit.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it, and they kept asking me to go on Whovians, but because I'm in more your category where I'm like, you don't want me to say what I really think.
Oh, yeah. We're watching it. It's not good. We're watching it because they went to the trouble of making it. It's a polite thing to do.
Oh, well, yeah. In my childhood,
I'll tell
watched it
this
'cause there's nothing
quickly,
else on.
Yeah.
but this is a true story. So years ago, this is a long time ago now, Matt Smith, who was one of the doctors, Doctor Who, I was on a plane flying from America to England, and Matt Smith was on this plane. And again, I swear this is true. On the plane, someone had a medical emergency, and they said, "Is there a doctor on board?" And I was the only person who kind of spotted who he was.
Yes.
And I looked straight at him. And he's like, of course. Like, I mean, how can you not? Like, just like a bit of like, did you hear what just happened? And he turns to me and just does that.
Because you can imagine it, right? The plane lands, right? Everyone comes in. The guy's dead that needed help, and here's Matt Smith standing over him with a sonic screwdriver. Doesn't work when it's on TV.
Well, it's
so
always
funny.
a pleasure. You can come on our show anytime. His show, Illuminate, tomorrow night, Regal Theatre. Don't worry about the 7 o'clock show. That's sold out. But 9 o'clock, the late show could go till 2 a.m. at this point. So get on board.
Well, also, imagine how late that is on my
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Good on you, Will.
Look forward to next time when I'll join you on a tin can with a bit of string.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
Time to catch up with the big horse, Shaun Darcy from the Fremantle Dockers, and he dominated on the weekend, 45.
Darth.
If you're watching the coverage too, geez, the commentators were loving you, Darth.
Were they?
Australia loves you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it's a Hemsworth. It's a fourth Hemsworth.
Yeah,
Nathan,
fourth
you mentioned it.
Hemsworth. I cannot bang on enough about it.
It was interesting because you played like a man who didn't want to leave and go to Geelong. It was amazing.
Yeah. Apparently I am, wasn't it? Picture of me in Geelong.
So it's so
It's
funny,
amazing,
right?
isn't it?
So last week, that story broke that you wanted to leave, and then we addressed it on our show because we're reading out what was in the paper, and
And that was
paper,
the first you'd seen the story
Yeah,
was
I
when you
hadn't
came in
seen
here. Yeah.
And you were amazed with what you're reading. So you address it and say no, and then the paper does another story and says, "See, we said he'd say no."
And
then they kept on
predicted, he
going with
denied it.
Yeah, I can't win. If I say no, they say I'm going to say no. If I say yes, then everyone...
Categorically.
That was a really good point you made there, Nath. And we were just talking to you. Now, tell everyone, Shaun, there was then a follow-up article saying that you guys are out at Benny's in Fremantle. And that was only Hugo's. Okay,
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago.
And
So-
you were cutting up the dance
Cutting up
floor.
the dance
Apparently,
floor.
you were BOG on the dance floor because your moves were amazing.
They said we're out till 2:30 a.m. at Hugo's, and I can tell you right now, I've got a Uber home at 9:45, and I didn't even go to Hugo's. Didn't step foot in there.
So you never set foot in Hugo's.
So
when people say "show me the receipts," you've got the receipts.
Literal receipt. So there was a function for.
Yeah, there was a players and partners function. So
and where was that?
That was at the Federal.
Yeah, right.
So we had dinner and a few drinks because it was an 8-day break, and I wasn't in the greatest mood because we lost by Western Bulldogs the night before, and then I even wrote that Michael Frederick was going really well, and he was on waters and left in about an hour
with an injured groin.
With an injured groin. So you sort of just laugh at it right now.
So they're literally just making it up.
Oh, they are. But
with these stories, so say that story's out, right? Do the coaching staff ask you about these stories, or what's the deal?
The leaders came to the boys who were in it, and I think it was me, Moose, Fifey, and Rick, and they come and talk to us about it. I was pretty cruisy. I was like, "Oh, I've done nothing wrong. I know for a fact."
Prove it. Here's my Uber receipt.
And then they went and talked to Bally, and Bally was just like, "Man, I couldn't care less." Legitimately. So it's an 8-day break. We don't go off wins and losses. If you guys want to have a beer and you're doing nothing wrong, you're doing nothing wrong.
It's interesting, though, but you get to a point where you feel like you need to defend yourself.
Yeah. Well, when they're constantly writing false stories about you.
But what's amazing, though, someone makes up something and then they make it up and they're so convincing about it, then you have to face the coaching staff about it, which didn't actually happen.
And the other thing is they're publishing it in the paper. The wider population aren't going to come to you and go, "Is that true?"
It's like on the back page of
so
the
they
West.
they just believe it must be true.
Yeah, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Let's tell everyone a really nice true story. Natalie was just talking to you about how beautiful the sunset was.
Yes,
last night.
It was a ripping sunset last night.
And what would happen with you and your friend Griff when there was a nice sunset?
Yeah, we really like our sunsets, me and Big Griff. So he used to live in an apartment at Leighton Beach, and I used to live in an apartment in South Freo. And every time it was a half decent sunset, we'd call each other and go down the beach.
Now, why don't you print that?
Sunset watch. So you would make make sure that neither of you missed it.
Yeah, we didn't want to miss the sunset.
That's right.
So what would you do? Would you have a splash around in the water or just sit there and watch it?
I'd go for a swim.
Yeah.
So,
And then just sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
It's always a good sunset. I reckon it's some of the best in the world down on the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's gorgeous.
Does anyone else? Do you reckon there's a lot of other people that have sunset friends?
So you wouldn't,
nice.
you wouldn't get together to watch the sunset.
No, we wouldn't
You
get
just
together. We'd be like, bro, this is going to be a good sunset.
So would you FaceTime one another while you were watching your respective...
No. We'd be like, get down to the beach. It's going to be a good sunset.
Yeah, and then you just appreciate it on your own.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous.
I don't know. That sounds more creepy than being with someone.
I like a sunset. What can I say?
That is really nice. And will that make the paper? We'll have to jazz it up, though.
No, it won't, because it's true.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.